Hi everybody, my name is Elisa and welcome back to our channel. So long time ago, a few years ago, I started to love doing painterly portraits and adding texture as part of my workflow. So during that time, I bought a lot of textures online, which actually not so expensive, but one day I wanted to join a photography competition, but one of the rules is that all the things that you use in creating this image should be solely created by you. I was like, oh my God. Because that includes the texture overlays. And as I've said, all the texture overlays that I had back then is bought online. So this made me think that, oh, maybe I should actually start creating my own texture overlays. So for today's video, I'm gonna show you guys how easy it is to create your own texture overlays and basically stop yourself from buying from others and create your own, be original. When you go out, there's a ton of textures available around, and I'm gonna be showing you how to take those photos and how to add them on your pictures. But for that, I'm gonna have to take you out with me. Let's go. Hey guys, now I am here outside to do texture hunting. First of all, I'm using my Sony a7R III because this has high megapixel and I'm using a 50mm focal length. So technically you can use any lens, but what I have is the Samyang 50mm f1.4 Mark II, and I find this versatile and perfect for what I'm about to do, because if I'm taking photos on the ground, if I go closer like this, I can take detailed shots, and if I just raise it up a bit, I can cover a much wider area. And my goal for today is to take 5 good textures, but when we came here, I already found a lot of textures, so I'm probably gonna take more than that. So let's go and start hunting for texture. But before that, hold my lens cap. When I'm shooting portraits, normally I would shoot at wide open f1.4, but since I'm shooting on a flat surface, I don't need to play with the depth of field. I don't need the bokeh at all, so I'm shooting at f5.6, or f5.6 to f8 is technically where the lens is going to be much sharper. The reason for that is sometimes you are really not sure if you're shooting straight, like really flat. So if you're a bit leveled or angled, you are making sure that everything is in focus. So I will try and shoot this one right here since I like how it looks. So my setting for this one is 100 of a second and ISO 200. Technically my exposure is depending on where I'm. Very sunny right now, so I don't need a high ISO. Alright, let me just shoot one. Don't need to film this. That's good. If you see a texture just like this large surface right here, don't just take one photo and walk away. Make sure to take different shots. The reason for that is if you're making a series of photographs, one photo shoot where you need this exact same texture, and when you put them together, then it won't be obvious that you're using just this one photo you took. So if you take one shot of each part, then you can use that on each of your photographs. They will all look different but the same texture. So I'm gonna probably shoot 3 or 4 of this one. You can also try and look for very specific textures that you want to use on a specific photo. So for example, I want a particular texture that I'm going to use for my painterly portrait. This one right here has its natural gradient, as you can see. Lighter here, darker here, and that's perfect for what I'm going to use it for. I'm going to take a shot of this one. And again, different varieties of it, since you can shoot from here to all the way down there. And probably there's more cracks there. I might actually use that one too. Yeah, there we go. Oh, right here. There's more there. Yeah. Another thing to make sure about is that don't shoot at direct sunlight and shoot in the shade, because as you can see, now this texture will be good, but it has very strong shadow. But if I go on the shady part, this would be the perfect one. So I'm gonna shoot the bottom part right here. I see that's gonna be good. When you're hunting for textures, you have to make sure that it has very good characteristics, and also you have to avoid things like this one. Okay, so not particularly this pattern right here. So very visible patterns and elements that are technically human made. It could be very subtle, small things like someone's dirty finger went on the wall. So sometimes these things are not obvious on the camera, but when you're on your computer, you'll start seeing these things, and you don't really want to edit that one. It's gonna be really distracting for your viewers. Your viewers will start focusing on that instead of the entirety of your texture. Or, you know, the obvious things that people draw on walls. Another advantage of shooting at a narrow aperture is to avoid vignetting. All lenses have some sort of vignetting in wide open, so this one luckily is very well controlled. I'm gonna show you an example. I'm gonna shoot at f1.4 and f5.6 so you guys can see the difference. So this is f5.6 because that's my settings originally. Already, I'm gonna go down to f1.4. At f1.4, there's a clear sign of the focus, and at f5.6, it's sharper and just a subtle blur on the corners. Now I completed my 5 textures for today, so let's go home and I'll show you how to edit them and apply them on your pictures. Let's go. With all the textures I took today, this will be the one I'm using for today's photo. So let's open it up in Affinity. First, I will do very basic sharpening to get more details out. I'll fix the exposure a little and add another clarity to finalize it and click Develop. Now, I'm going to remove things I don't want in my texture, but not everything, as I want to preserve its natural gritty surface. I don't want colors on my textures as this can affect the photo I'm using it for, so I'm going to open HSL and slide that saturation shift down to -100%. Now it's ready, so let's copy this to our photograph. This is the photo I will use, which is a portrait of my son that I took a few days ago. It's fully edited now and just need to add texture. I'll paste it on the picture pressing Ctrl+V and adjust it. I'll turn it to vertical and resize it to my portrait. Now let's change the blending mode to soft light and click Layer Mask. Here we can change its opacity and we can now start removing some textures of my subject using a brush in black color. I'm gonna speed it up for this video, but normally I take more care when doing this part. Throughout the process, you can change your brush opacity to change its intensity in the texture removal. This helps to balance it out. Now this image is fully done. You can see that it adds a unique characteristic in the picture compared to a just plain background. Now you've seen how easy it is to create your own textures and add them on your photograph. So in this video, I have obviously went out specifically to do texture hunting, but whenever you're out with your camera, just try to take some few snaps here and there whenever you see an interesting texture, and after a while I'm sure you'll be able to accumulate a huge collection of textures that you can use for yourself for your own photos. So did you guys find this video helpful? Please let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye!